Hello, so I'm going to be doing a Bruce Campbell from Evil Dead makeup today, and this is like one of my favorite movies of all time. But anyways, it's from the scene where he is bad Ash, so he's kind of possessed by a deadite. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. Alrighty, here we go.
So the first thing we do is we take some glue and we run it through our eyebrows, first against the grain, then with the grain. This is really important because if you don't, you will lose your eyebrows with the latex when it comes off. Once our eyebrows are glued down, we put some latex on top to make sure that they stay down and to make sure that the cotton that we're going to be using has something to stick to. So here we're laying down a cotton pad unibrow to give us that big old brow bone that happens once Ash is possessed by the deadite. We're going to layer this down with a first layer of cotton pads, and then we're going over it with cotton to expand it. You know you're done when you've got this big old sexy white Santa Claus looking unibrow. So after we've got that nice and sexy unibrow, we take latex and cotton and we continue it down along our eye socket bone to give us sunken in eyes along with that dramatic raised brow. So then you want to take more cotton and latex and build above that brow to give it a fuller look. Dip your finger in liquid latex and run it across the cotton and the cotton pad to try and blend it, but beware you will get cotton stuck to your finger. After you're done with that, take that latex dipped finger and run it along the edges of the cotton so that it blends better into your skin. This will make it look more like it's your actual brow bone instead of just cotton that we shoved onto our skin. So as you can see here, I'm taking that big full brow bone and I'm taking that down towards my cheek because we're going to follow those eye socket bones and we're going to raise those cheekbones like a deadites are. It's okay if this takes you a couple of tries to really get the look you want. It took me a couple of tries too. What will make it easier is having a reference photo of the look you're going for right next to you or near you so you can constantly check. Be really careful with working with liquid latex near your eyes. You don't want to get it in your eyes. That will really burn. So like I said, be extra careful. And when working with the eyelashes, especially if you do not want to lose them, try and keep your eye closed and try not to get latex in your eyelashes because they will come out.
You may not remember me. I come and go too quick. You wouldn't know my name. I hardly ever speak a line. If the hero kills
So this is where we want to take that brow bone and we want to start following our cheekbone down so that we can hook it back up towards our eyes to give us that really creepy sunken in eye look. So this is going to raise our cheekbones just like we raised that big old eyebrow bone.
Don't really mean it. I'm a threat to no one. The other deadites make fun of me. Evil Eddie, oh, the bit part.
So this is when we start taking that bone and we hook it back up to point towards our eyes. Now you want to be careful not to hook it up too much to your eye. You don't want to get too close because then we run the risk of impeding our vision or getting our eyelashes mixed in with that latex if you have really long lashes. And like I said before, that's something we do not want to do. You will lose your eyelashes. Seriously, I've done it.
So, these are prosthetics that I put on just simply by adding latex to my skin and then latex to the back of them. I actually made these prosthetics myself using a latex paste buildup, which I learned from the makeup artist EllieMacs on YouTube. I'll post a link so that you can see how they were made. I just made it to look like sunken in prosthetics. But anyways, I made another prosthetic and I'm really sad that I can't find it because it was beautiful, it was glorious. It was a butt chin, because if you've ever seen Evil Dead, you know that Bruce Campbell has a butt chin, and I can't find my butt chin prosthetic. I'm so sad right now. Oh my god. Oh. So I've searched everywhere and I can't find my butt chin, so I think I'm gonna make myself a butt chin right now. Alright.
So, if you want to make yourself a beautiful and glorious butt chin like myself, you want to first apply liquid latex to your chin. That way, again, the cotton has something to stick onto. Then, I would recommend not using an entire cotton ball per butt cheek chin thing, because I feel like that would be a little bit too big, at least for my chin, because I have a very small one. But if you have a larger chin or a larger jawline, that actually might work. So for me, what I did was I took a cotton ball, I divided it in half, and then I rolled it in my hand till it was the shape I want, and then I stuck it on there on each side. And then I just kind of like took the liquid latex and blended the cotton down my jaw, and even added a little bit on either side so it looked like it was my whole jaw and then my actual beautiful and glorious butt chin.
While I'm the S-smart employee, 'cause I kill what looks even slightly evil. Who knows who the next victim will be? 'Cause I shoot and kill and saw.
Once we are done with our beautiful, glorious butt chins, we can take cotton thinner layers, roll them together in our hands, and then apply them to the very top of our proceeded brow bone. That way it blends even better into our skin, because I noticed for mine it just kind of was like skin then brow bone. That's not what we want. So if you notice here, I have officially put in my contacts. I don't actually have the real contacts used for the film. Unfortunately, those are scleras, they're expensive, and I'm poor, so I'm sorry. The foundation here that I used is really just a regular old foundation that's a slightly darker color than my skin, because the beautiful, glorious, sexy butt chin man Bruce Campbell had a really nice tan back then, which unfortunately I don't, because I'm pale as fuck right now. But I digress. The reason I put in the contacts before I put on the foundation was because you always want to put in your contacts before you do any sort of painting, because you never know how your eyes are going to react to that paint. They might run, and if your eyes start running and you start crying, you could ruin a beautiful, beautiful paint job that you've done. And it's really, really hard to redo a paint job and make it match the rest of your face after the rest of your face is already done. So always put in contacts first, paint second.
All my friends are here for the best spring break of the year. Away from school and from S-Mart, a week way off the charts.
A holiday
So after you've done your initial base of foundation, I'm taking a paint base out of this oil palette that I have. I'll post a link for it in the description. And I'm basing myself out with a yellow. We're going to layer it with yellows and other different colors so that the paint job is not monochromatic and it looks more interesting to the eye and it looks more natural and broken up. After I did my yellow base, I broke it up with colors of green and then brown so the colors didn't get all like monochromatic.
It's Marissa. Yes, I know. I just said that.
I'm sorry
I'm dying world. Making fun of me for how in love with my butt chin I am.
Here I'm taking a brown from my palette and I'm basically contouring everything so that those parts that should be shadowed are more shadowed and accentuating the features better so that they look more sunken in.
With our very own special dance. How the hell do demons do their very own special dance? In hell we dance our own special.
For the contouring of the eyes here, we want to base it out with a red because the kind that he has is in the film is like kind of purplish. My palette didn't have purple, so we're making purple by starting with red, and then we're going to break that up with like a lighter pink and some blues, and that'll give us the color that we want and give us that sunken in, tired, demonic look.
You gotta follow the moves right to the letter.
Now we're taking that yellow and using it as a highlight in contrast to the shadows that we added earlier to just make it really apparent that those are raised, because under the dim lighting no one would be able to really tell and it'll just look flat.
Really gotta accentuate this butt chin here.
Get it real nice and deep. You want your butt chin to be so defined, it makes Kim Kardashian's butt look like a chin.
Take that brown again and use it to really outline that brow bone that we got and make it look more furrowed and more evil. Get it? Because it's Evil Dead. I'm hilarious. This is a really good point where you can take the latex and really blend out any areas that you feel didn't get blended out enough, because, you know, there's no such thing as too much blending. Actually, scratch that. There is, but this is not the case. We're going to take that palette from earlier and we're going to base our neck out in that yellow to give it that really dead look. Okay, I promise that was the last Evil Dead pun. I swear. Just like before, we're going to break that yellow up with a little bit of green, brown, and maybe even a little red layers, just to give it that nice. Then we take a small brush and that brown, and we use it to kind of define the muscles in our neck to make it look like really popping out. Then I decided to do the same thing around my mouth to kind of give myself a permanent frown, or really a permanent like kind of snarled look to make myself a little, little scurrier.
Now, Mother always said that whenever you hear a strange, frightening, and
Grab yourself an Ash costume and you are done. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe.